On August 5, 2009, Dalia Dippolito got devastating news.
Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry. Listen.
Dalia was hysterical, and weirdly, it was all captured on video. What was weirder was the fact her out-of-control anguish was all an act.
Nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me.
This is the infamous case of Dalia Dippolito, the beautiful psycho who took gold digging to another level. Join us as we deep dive into the love story that revolves around the ultimate betrayal, bad choices, and a murder-for-hire plot that gained unprecedented media attention.
I didn't do anything, and I didn't plot anything.
Now, let's dig into Mike Dippolito's challenging life. Raised in Philadelphia with absent substance-abusing parents, his early life was difficult. Battling addiction from a young age, he dropped out of school. Mike got involved in criminal activities, and legal troubles followed him as he grew up. In his 20s, Mike got involved in scams, including a fraud investment scheme.
Call people up, and they would sell them these penny stocks, convince them that these were going to become stocks that were going to be worth a lot of money, but in actually were just scams.
He was found guilty of organized fraud, unlicensed telemarketing, and grand theft. He was sentenced to prison, probation, and restitution of $219,000. Unfortunately, he relapsed into addiction during this challenging period. The only glimmer of hope in his gloomy life was this loving girlfriend, Maria. Her loyal support during Mike's prison years only strengthened their relationship. Mike was determined to improve, got sober, got his GED, and secured a good job in online marketing. He was on the right track, even marrying Maria in October 2008. Things were looking up for the 40-year-old, but his life took a sharp turn when he met the Egyptian beauty, Dalia Muhammad.
Well, I didn't meet her in church. That's obvious. Needless to say, I was married. I made a bad decision.
Intrigued by Dalia's online profile on eros.com, Mike was instantly captivated when he saw her in person.
He meets her on a website called eros.com. He was ordering an escort to keep him company over the weekend. He ordered her like a pizza.
Mike described Dalia as a mix of innocent charm with a wild side. Their physical connection was intense, exploring various kinks and fantasies. Their relationship quickly turned serious, leading Mike to end his marriage with Maria, who had stood by him for years. This marked a new chapter in Mike's life, with Dalia becoming his new addiction. The once stable and promising life he had built began to dissolve. Dalia and Mike connected on a deep level, sharing a similar hustler lifestyle.
We seemed to hit it off really quick.
Dalia was a true entrepreneur at heart. She was a realtor with a valid real estate license, ran a massage parlor, and managed an escort agency. Dalia's life wasn't easy. Her Egyptian father was abusive, especially towards her Peruvian mother. Dalia witnessed serious abuse, leading to her parents' divorce. Despite her troubled past, she cut ties with her father but remained close to her mother and grandparents. Mike saw Dalia as a true hustler at heart and appreciated the fact she didn't drink, which honestly helped with his sobriety. Dalia, unlike Mike's turbulent upbringing, never touched drugs and rarely drank. Her decision to cut ties with her abusive father resonated with Mike. As Mike was legally separating from Maria, Dalia flew to California, ending her relationship with her boyfriend.
I was told that he was going through the divorce proceeding.
Moving in with Mike, they planned a future together, but everything was moving too fast. Everyone around them was a bit skeptical, a strain on their relationship. Life needed a breather for stability. Was this the girlfriend experience Dalia was skilled at, or was it true love? Whatever it was, Mike was head over heels in love with Dalia. He celebrated her 28th birthday by taking her entire family to a fancy Italian restaurant. However, the night took an unexpected turn when her ex-boyfriend from California, holding flowers, appeared, attempting to win her back. Despite the surprise, Mike was impressed by how Dalia handled the situation. It took her just a minute to give his ex-boyfriend a reality check. Dalia was committed to Mike. Their relationship seemed perfect, except for a slight hiccup. Mike was still on probation, a probation that was supposed to last until he paid up his fraud victims.
After months of being together, his probation officer showed up at our home, and I had no idea who it was.
Still on probation, Mike had to leave the county for a business meeting. He took this opportunity to turn this business trip into a romantic vacation with Dalia. Initially, the couple enjoyed the trip, but then they started fighting. This made them realize they rushed things and didn't know each other well enough. When they returned to Boone Beach, Mike suggested taking a break, leading to Dalia's intense meltdown. After a month apart, they met at a coffee shop. Dalia seemed more mature and regretful. They discussed making the relationship work. Then, out of the blue, Mike bent down on one knee and proposed. Dalia enthusiastically agreed and chose a $26,000 engagement ring. Despite the whirlwind romance and their recent issues, they decided to get engaged. On January 28, 2009, Mike's divorce from Maria was finalized. The next day, on the 29th, Mike bought a Boone Beach townhouse, ensuring they lived close to Dalia's mother. Only a week later, on February 2nd, after 4 months of knowing each other, Mike and Dalia got married in a courthouse ceremony on Groundhog's Day. Mike was ecstatic. Their sex life was fantastic, even during arguments. Dalia showed genuine love, writing heartfelt love notes. She expressed her desire to help Mike financially, using her earnings from the escort and massage business and restarting her real estate career. However, one obstacle remained: Mike's probation restrictions, preventing them from traveling aboard together. Dalia proposed a solution. If Mike paid off the remaining $100,000 of his $191,000 restitution, she would contribute $91,000. Mike actually had saved nearly $250,000. He could have paid the restitution in full, but opted for a slow payment plan to maintain their lifestyle. Despite the financial complexities, Mike believed everything was going smoothly in their relationship. Dalia's promise to contribute to Mike's restitution felt like a profound act of love, deepening their connection. The plan was for Mike to write checks in $6,000 to $8,000 increments, keeping these gifts below the IRS radar. Dalia would then wire the combined sum of $191,000 to Mike's attorney. However, after weeks of waiting, the attorney never received the funds.
At that point, yes, and at that point, she already had stolen $100,000 from me.
Dalia came up with excuses, claiming issues with a wire transfer through the Cayman Islands. She showed Mike a receipt, but the attorney's skepticism grew. Dalia then accused the attorney of stealing the money, leaving Mike confused and unsure whom to believe. Then shortly after the last payment, on the night of March 12th, Mike's home was raided by his parole officer and uniformed officers.
I came out one day and we were leaving in the morning and an officer approached me, "Is this your truck?" I said, "Yes, it is." And I didn't know what he wanted. He goes, "Can I search it? There's been activity on it. Someone called." And I'm like, "Absolutely, you can search it."
An anonymous tip alleged Mike's involvement in selling ecstasy and steroids, a serious probation violation.
The officer searches the truck. There's nothing in the truck. He lets me leave.
The search yielded nothing, but the parole officer began closely monitoring Mike, conducting frequent checks that hadn't occurred for years. The situation was getting increasingly perplexing and troubling for Mike.
Pulled over, had my house searched, and grabbed it.
The weekend after the home raid, Dalia suggested they take a room at a nearby Ritz-Carlton to ease the stress. But the next morning, after the overnight stay, the police approached him at the gym. They had another anonymous tip about suspicious drug activity in his car. Embarrassed, he underwent a search, but again, nothing was found. The strange events continued. The following day, on his way to an AA meeting, Mike discovered a plastic bag with pills and a small amount of cocaine behind his gas tank lid.
The next day I went to get gasoline in the truck. There was drugs in my gas cap.
So what do you suspect that planted it? A hunch.
A hunch was my wife.
Realizing someone was setting him up, he tossed it, but paranoia set in.
And I'm like, well, how's this happening?
Strange things going on in his life and in Dalia's too.
On March 29th, while having dinner with Dalia, his car was targeted again. This time, police brought a drug dog, which alerted to something behind the spare tire. Underneath, they found a cigarette pack with 1.5 grams of cocaine. Mike insisted on a drug test, claiming someone was framing him. Fortunately, the police believed him.
7 years, I guess, prior, I had no run-ins with the police.
Mike's 6 years of sobriety and a clean drug test helped him avoid legal trouble. Leaving the police station, Dalia was driving, and Mike confronted her about the incidents. He questioned if she had any involvement, particularly since the items were found inside his locked car. Instead of denying it, Dalia avoided the conversation by driving recklessly, going 100 miles per hour, until Mike pleaded with her to stop. The following day, Dalia admitted to knowing about the missing $191,000. She admitted to being a victim of a wire transfer fraud scheme. She thought she was saving on service fees by using a certain individual, but he disappeared with the money. Mike, having been a scammer himself, believed her, as she seemed genuinely upset. However, they faced a dilemma, as they couldn't report it to the police. It was Mike's hidden money. Dalia proposed a new plan, using Mike's remaining savings of $141,000, borrowing $50,000 from a contact, and paying off the restitution. Mike agreed, and the money was handed over to another individual who wrote a check for $191,000. However, issues arose with the check again. The situation became even more complex, leaving Mike confused and financially strained.
I mean, I guess fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. At this point, there's just nothing left to say. It's just ridiculous.
Amidst the chaos, Dalia offered to pay for a new attorney's retainer, as Mike had no funds left. The new attorney suggested that Mike deed the house over to Dalia to avoid having assets in his own name. If caught, he could potentially have to sell the house to pay restitution. Mike, caught in the web, agreed to the plan.
No, we just purchased a home, and I just actually signed the title over to her until I could straighten out my other problems with probation.
Meanwhile, the drug busts continued, and Mike received an extortion letter demanding $40,000. As if things couldn't get worse, Dalia, during this turbulent period, revealed that she was pregnant. In just 6 months of marriage, Mike found himself in a nightmarish situation. He had lost $241,000, faced repeated drug-related threats, signed his house over to his wife, and was recovering from liposuction surgery and a severe bout of food poisoning. Despite the difficulties, Mike seemed committed to the relationship, but little did he know that the worst was yet to come. As the shocking reality unfolded before him, Mike found himself facing a surreal situation at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Your wife has hired a person to kill you.
Relax, just take it easy.
Take a deep breath.
Then sit down.
The police informed him that his wife, Dalia, had hired a hitman to have him killed.
You already know why we're here.
Yes.
Reference this whole incident has happened in investigation where your wife hired somebody to kill you.
The initial confusion turned into a rush of emotions, disappointment, anger, shock, and a profound sense of betrayal. The veil of love and companionship lifted, revealing a landscape of deceit and manipulation.
Whatever she gets, she deserves. I mean, I'll do whatever I have to do to help this case move along.
Okay.
I have to.
So you want to prosecute
Yes.
and follow through with this?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
In the midst of this revelation, Mike was still grappling with the idea that Dalia wasn't just after his money. She had even more sinister plans for him.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shahade.
Afternoon.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Good enough.
Okay, good.
Mohammed Shahade's life was a whirlwind of messy relationships and legal troubles, and somewhere in the midst of this chaos, Dalia re-entered his life.
When When did you first meet Dalia Dippolito?
Probably around 2001, maybe.
Her grand plan to make Mike disappear or meet a tragic end involved enlisting Muhammad's help, as she believed he had connections to individuals who could carry out her evil plan.
And the two of you became friends?
Yes.
And had you stayed in touch with her off and on up until July of 2009?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point were the two of you intimate?
Yes.
His relationship with Dalia was a casual friends with benefits, but Muhammad found her personality grating. Despite her allure, her juvenile tantrums and demanding nature had convinced him that a long-term relationship was out of the question.
And did you consider yourself to be close friends with her?
Yes.
Okay.
Despite their turbulent past, Dalia reached out to Muhammad, hoping he would help in orchestrating her husband's death. As Dalia hatched her plan, Muhammad became a central figure in the unfolding drama.
At some point at the end of July 2009, did you contact the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Yes.
And do you recall what you told the Boynton Beach Police Department?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Mike, still oblivious to the impending danger, was caught in the crossfire of deceit and manipulation. So, as Dalia continued her manipulative dance, now she had two unwitting accomplices in her plan. Enter Michael Stanley, the man she was living with in California, the same ex-boyfriend who came to her with flowers when Mike was with her at the restaurant. Yes, the same guy.
A revealing look at the relationship between Dalia Dippolito and her ex-lover Mike Stanley on full display.
I have always loved you, babe, and know and do now so much.
Dalia roped Michael Stanley into making fake calls to the police, reporting drug activity and other false information about Mike. Although Michael was not aware of any murder plot, he was a knowing participant in Dalia's web of deceit, believing her concocted stories and aiding her in the elaborate scheme. It was Michael who posed as the doctor on the phone informing Mike that Dalia was pregnant. The reality was, it was all a big lie. Why was Michael doing her bidding? Because Dalia told him she wanted to get back with him. On the other hand, Dalia fed Muhammad a different sobbing story. She painted Mike as a violent, drug-addicted, steroid-fueled menace who posed a threat to her well-being.
You know, I know a woman that's being hurt by her husband, and she needs help, and she feels like her only solution is for her to be dead or for him to be killed.
Muhammad was somewhat skeptical due to their history. He knew she tended to exaggerate things. Despite his skepticism, Muhammad decided to help her and introduced her to an undercover narcotics cop he knew through one of his convenience stores. As Dalia masterfully manipulated those around her, the pieces of her grand scheme were coming together. Dalia's attempts to frame Mike for drug-related offenses continued to fail. The undercover narcotics cop, who had initially engaged with her at Muhammad's suggestion, grew suspicious of her intentions. Initially, he did raid Mike several times, but found nothing on him. Dalia, desperate to incriminate her husband, kept offering to bribe the officer. It backfired, and he urged her to contact local law enforcement if she genuinely believed Mike was involved in illegal activities. Despite Dalia's persistent efforts, each attempt to incriminate Mike and have him incarcerated failed. The elaborate house of cards she was building began to teeter, but the most shocking act in her twisted drama was yet to come. As the stage was set for the final act, the consequences for those involved in Dalia's schemes were poised to reach a dramatic climax. In early April, Dalia escalated her plan, meeting with Muhammad at his cousin's urban wear store. She appeared desperate. She was frustrated that her fake pregnancy scheme wasn't working, and she needed Mike out of the picture. In the middle of the store, she loudly demanded Muhammad find someone to kill her husband. She attracted attention, drawing concern from a gang member named Larry Cole, part of the Buck Wild gang in South Florida. Overhearing her conversation, Larry offered to help arrange the murder. Muhammad and his cousin, alarmed, tried to advise against it. Eventually, Larry and Dalia went outside for a murder talk, where Larry refused to get involved. Determined, Dalia pursued Larry for days, pestering people for his number. She called him repeatedly, but Larry, fearing her unpredictability, declined to participate in her dangerous plan. It seemed that even gang members were wary of Dalia's extreme ideas. Additionally, there were suspicions that she had been poisoning Mike when he fell ill after his liposuction surgery. Muhammad believed she might be using antifreeze in her attempt to eliminate him. The complexity and danger of Dalia's schemes were escalating. On July 31st, Mike, unaware of the imminent danger, signed the deed over to Dalia. She urgently contacted Muhammad again, pleading for help in finding a hitman. Despite Muhammad's reluctance, they drove around, but things got out of hand when she stole his gun from the glove compartment.
I didn't know the whole story, but my point was there was guns missing, there was people getting involved with her, and I thought it was getting serious.
Concerned for his own safety, Muhammad realized he needed to distance himself from Dalia's dangerous schemes. He called his attorney, disclosing the unfolding events, and learned that the best course of action was to report her to the police.
Are you scared for the guy?
Yes, because she's really, dead serious on getting this done. She's maybe 5'6", 5'7", dark black hair. She's a good-looking girl. Really good-looking girl, actually.
Man, Mohammed Shahadi, was recorded as he talked to detectives about his one-time lover, Dalia Dippolito.
Simultaneously, Mike, who genuinely cared for Dalia's family, had planned a special outing for her grandfather. He spent $3,000 to take the entire family to a baseball game, an unfortunate irony considering Dalia's plan for him. On the other hand, the police had devised a plan too. A sting operation with an undercover cop posing as a hitman. Police asked Muhammad to bring Dalia to the gas station to meet the hitman.
Tell her to meet at the gas station, talk to her, tell her that it has to be done within the next 72 hours. She has to come up with the money, that I'm going to bring her a hitman.
The police mic'd up Muhammad and installed a camera in his car.
Yes.
Did they ever tell you? Did Boynton Beach PD ever tell you that they were putting video cameras inside your car? How did you find out about that?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Recordings captured Dalia's persistent efforts to hire a hitman.
I remember saying this: I'm not going to be able to sleep knowing that someone is going to get killed. I have to get it off my chest. Do you remember saying that?
Maybe, yes.
In a conversation with Muhammad, she discussed payment, offering $200 as a down payment on the $20,000 total. Muhammad, now cooperating with the police, introduced her to an undercover cop named Woody Jean, who posed as the hitman. Dalia is asked to meet the hitman at the gas station. She arrives on time and gets in the car of Muhammad to seal the deal with the hitman. Surprisingly, she was very relaxed and a little bit flirty.
First thing first, 3,000, and then I do my thing, and I'm lowballing. The price is really, really low.
The first thing Woody complains about is the price. Why is she lowballing him?
This is what you want, all right? So you sure you want to kill this dude?
Woody straight away wanted to get an admission on tape, but she giggled and tried not to be as blunt and direct.
Wednesday morning at the house, because I was looking in newspapers here, there's been a lot of burglaries in this area. All right, it's not uncommon for someone to break into a house. Boom, and he gets two in the head. That's it, I take a couple things with me.
Since she isn't going to take the bait as easily, Woody explicitly plots out a plan as to how will he frame it as a burglary gone wrong. Her reaction was a stone-cold face. Woody emphasized to Dalia that the murder had to be discreet and not in a public place. He suggested entering the house while Mike was sleeping, ensuring a clean execution.
I I give you maybe 1 or 2 days, but I'll be in contact with you. You know what I mean? When it's all done, and then I get paid.
I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you see me and you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever. But I'm not.
You are. You're extremely beautiful.
Thank you, but
Eventually, she started to open up and started bragging about how tough she was.
What do you say back on
the okay, when it's all done, I was going to get $3,000 from you today, and $3,000 when it's all done.
Right.
Okay? So I'm going to collect all of it at once, 1,000 or 2. So can you do 7 or 800,000? What's this done?
Just 7, is that okay?
Okay, 7 cash.
Agreeing to pay now means Woody will have definitive proof that Dalia is actually soliciting him for murder. The undercover operation was in full swing, exposing Dalia's malicious plan and her eagerness to proceed with the deadly plot.
And when it's done, you're not going to have an option to change your mind. Even if you change your mind, I'm talking to him.
There's no changing, there's no, I'm determined already. I'm positive, 5,000% sure,
Okay. Do you go jogging in the morning? You go to the gym in the morning?
I was going to the gym, yeah. I mean, if I go tomorrow, it's not going to look weird or anything.
Okay.
I go to the gym on a regular basis.
All right, then.
Around 6:30, 7 o'clock, he always walks the dog in the morning.
Okay.
And he walks the dog across, over where the lake is, and our door is always unlocked.
I'll be in the house by 6:30 Wednesday morning.
They scheduled a date and time for the supposed hit, and Woody made sure to stress the finality of her decision. Woody gave her at least 4 exits to back out of this deal. She didn't budge. She was 5,000% sure she wanted it.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, and I guess
you'll hear from me.
I'll hear from you.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye.
Meanwhile, Muhammad, ever the reluctant accomplice, tried to ensure his safety even as he cooperated with the authorities. It was time the police orchestrated a fake crime scene.
You and Brian will go with me. We'll go out to the house and get the husband.
Removing Mike from the house to ensure his safety was of utmost importance.
Your wife has hired a person to kill you.
They then called Dalia, informing her of an emergency at her residence.
After that, Frank or somebody will call the wife.
Panicked, she raced home.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
Upon hearing the news, Dalia collapsed into the arms of a police officer. While her performance seemed convincing at first glance, upon closer inspection, it became apparent that Dalia's reaction was premature.
Listen,
No!
try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you to the...
It seemed rehearsed, and she jumped the gun, reacting before the police officer had completed delivering the news of her husband's supposed demise.
I can't. Man, go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these gentlemen.
Caught in the web of lies she had woven, Dalia continued her performance for a little while, but the police had different plans for her. She was brought down to the police station. She read her Miranda rights, and the interview started.
I know it's very bad. Was he asleep when you left?
No, because we said sort of, but not really because of his back. He was just kind of
laying there?
He was just laying there, and he set the alarm, But, I mean, I
There was
said,
no alarm.
bye. I said, I'll bring you coffee on the way home, and, normally.
Sergeant Paul Sheridan set the tone for the interrogation.
Are you sure that you don't know anybody who want to kill your husband? You wouldn't want to kill him, I hope. Not at all.
We are fine. There's nothing.
There's no problems between you guys, no financial problems, no...
No, there's nothing. I mean, we're going through, his business has slowed down like anything,
Initially, she claimed she had no idea why this happened.
In the process of this, I'm going to ask her if she knows anything about the crime, the death of her husband. And, of course, she's going to say no, at which time I'm going to ask her again if she's sure. She's going to say no, at which... Is there anybody you could think of that would want to do this to him?
I was telling the officers we've had problems already, and
What sort of problem?
he's been trying to get off probation, and it's just been nothing but problems the whole time that he's been trying to get off. people weren't happy that he was getting off probation because it's a lot of money he's got to pay back.
Well, when you say people, who are you talking about? People that were involved with him before, or?
Just a little bit of everything. This was supposed to be something, when he got off probation, it was supposed to be between us. And he went and he told, friends of his, he told, certain people, and everyone kind of talks, and he's constantly running into a lot of the guys that he was on probation with. Like a couple days ago, we ran into someone, and that was a target. I mean, and the guy comes up to us, and he's like with organized crime. It seems like a lot of the guys from Boca are starting to move up here. And we're constantly running into, a lot of the guys that he knows and things like that. So it was a lot of money. It was $191,000 that he had to pay back. So we were going to go ahead, and he had the money to pay off the probation and everything like that. And then I guess somehow when he went away, some guys didn't go away. They left the country.
You mean went away? He went to prison?
Right.
Okay.
They left the country. And so somehow he was dealing with some of those guys because they thought that he owed them, and I don't know, something with that he was taking care of. So the money that he used to get off of probation, he never he never did it. He did something else with that.
Yeah.
Then she attempted to divert attention by suggesting that numerous people had a motive to harm her husband due to financial disputes, probation issues, and alleged extortion attempts. However, the investigators remained committed to unraveling the truth.
I don't know if you know, he was shot. He was shot twice, and I want you to know all this.
Do you know this?
Did they tell you out there?
Not exactly. I mean, they told me he was shot. When I was at the gym, I got a phone call. I didn't hear my phone ring, and I called back, and they told me just to please come, that something happened at my house.
Yeah, evidently your husband answered the door, and they took him back upstairs, and in your bedroom.
We have cameras, though. Why would he answer the door? Like, he doesn't answer for anybody he doesn't know. I mean, the only person, like his probation officer, is like the only, you know what I mean?
I have no idea.
He would not answer the door. We had cameras, like, at our house.
Maybe he knows this person. I didn't know you had cameras, because when we got there, some of your neighbors heard the commotion.
We have cameras. The front door has cameras.
Oh,
and the back door has cameras. But they don't record.
And they don't record.
Nobody knows, but they don't. We told everybody they record, but they don't record.
Oh, God.
Because he didn't want them to make a hole in the garage for the recorder to be there because of his car.
Sergeant Sheridan then explained where he was found.
He was found in the bedroom. He was shot twice in the head.
He wouldn't open the door unless it's somebody that he knows, because we don't open for anybody.
Now, you have to understand, I wasn't there, neither was he. We have other people there, so maybe somebody broke into the house or something. I don't know. Which time, when I asked her again if she's sure, she's going to say no, at which time Woody Jean will be brought in the door with his handcuffs on.
It was time to bring in Woody Jean, the undercover officer who posed as the hitman.
Now, you know that I advised you of your rights, right?
Yes, you have.
Okay. The game's over with. Okay? There's no more games with you and I. Now we're going to get down to serious business. I want to know if you know this guy. Come here. Bring this guy in here. Get over here. Get over here. You know who this guy is?
No.
You've never seen him before?
I've never seen him before. Ever.
Do you know her?
Put your head up and look at her.
Put your head up.
I've never seen him.
What were you doing coming out of her house?
Dalia fell into the trap. In dramatic fashion, they ushered in Woody Jean, the undercover cop posing as the hitman, handcuffed and avoiding eye contact. Dalia maintained her facade, vehemently denying any knowledge of him, insisting she had never seen him before.
You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did. You're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder of your husband.
I didn't do anything.
Did you hear what I just told you?
I heard you.
As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you and take you to the Palm Beach County Jail, book you for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
Can I see him?
No, he doesn't want to see you.
I so wanted to see him.
He doesn't want to see you.
Please.
You better quit your plan. Listen to me. I want you to quit your acting and get this over with.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Okay. You know what? You need a real good attorney. You need a real good attorney because we're going to show them the film where you say you're 5,000% sure you want him dead. You think I made that up? You think I made that up? It's exactly what's going to happen. I'm talking with you. When I leave this room, no other officer will ever talk to you again. The next time we see you is when you're in trial. Now, you can make it right here, or you're going to trial, and you're going to do life in prison. You want to cooperate with us, whatever you want to do. It's over and done once I walk out. I'm not coming back in to talk to you. And no one else is either. What do you want to do before I leave here? Because the next officer comes here, going to handcuff you and take you to the jail.
Sergeant Sheridan abruptly ended the charade, revealing Woody's true identity and charging Dalia with solicitation for murder. The elaborate act she had orchestrated to eliminate her husband had collapsed under the scrutiny of the police investigation. Finally, in dramatic fashion, Mike was brought into the interrogation room.
Oh my God.
He's alive.
Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here. Come here, please. Come here.
Can't fix it.
Why not? I didn't do anything
I
to
heard
you.
you.
Mike, come here, please. Come here.
Okay.
The prosecutor built a robust case against Dalia Dippolito, portraying her as a greedy individual who sought financial gain by orchestrating her husband's murder. In just 6 months of marriage, Dalia managed to extract $241,000 from Mike, secured the deed to his $250,000 house, and jeopardized his chances of parole. The motive for the murder-for-hire scheme was clear. She needed him gone to maintain her ill-gotten wealth. The evidence presented during the trial was overwhelming. Taped conversations, testimonies from Michael Stanley, the unwitting lover pulled into her schemes, and the undercover police officer posing as the fake hitman all pointed to Dalia's guilt. The only key player who did not testify was Muhammad, as he had become entangled in a bizarre DUI incident just weeks before the trial. Muhammad's peculiar DUI story involved a late-night rendezvous in a convenience store parking lot, supposedly buying a rap CD. However, the encounter took an unexpected turn when the other party snatched $4,000 from Muhammad's wallet, leading to a Xanax-induced car chase when he was stopped by the police and charged with DUI.
The Boynton Beach police uploaded the video the same day.
With Dalia's case gaining notoriety through various digital media outlets, the evidence, combined with the public spectacle surrounding the case, made it a captivating legal drama with a karmic twist.
This was our way of getting video to our local media.
The defenses attempted to shift the narrative and claimed that the entire murder-for-hire scheme was a ploy for reality TV stardom.
And now you come into court and your whole goal in this thing was to get publicity. Is that true? To become a reality TV star?
Killing somebody? Come on. Nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me.
That was part of the script too?
Yes.
But the prosecutor promptly dismissed it. She highlighted the absurdity of the defense's argument, pointing out that Mike had never been involved in any communications between Dalia, Michael Stanley, and Muhammad.
And Muhammad told you to say that I'm a lot tougher than I look?
I had to go in that meeting with Billie Jean, and as though, that's what I wanted to have done.
The claim that Mike orchestrated the scheme to land a spot on a reality show lacked credibility, especially considering his absence from any such endeavors in the past. Dalia even called Mike from the prison trying to explain that it was all to get a gig on reality TV.
Hello? Hey, it's me. Yeah, what's up? Nothing, Mike. Can you please come here? Hey, listen, I don't want to fight with you. Honestly. I can't help you. Don't you understand what just happened? What they're saying is not true. How is that possible? Like, I'm sitting here. It's not true. It's not possible. You wouldn't even give me 2 minutes to talk to you, but it's not possible. What they are saying is not true. How in the hell did I hear it and see it? I heard what you heard. It's not true. I heard what you heard, and I it not? How are you telling me that?
I
It's not
am giving you my word that it's not true.
What do you... Dalia, I couldn't help you if I wanted to.
Mike, please, I need an attorney. Can you please help me?
Mike had shown no interest or intent to participate in a reality show.
Did you ever try out for a reality show?
No.
Did you ever have aspirations to be on a reality show?
No.
Did you ever write a script for a reality show?
No.
Did you ever act out any scenarios with a defendant for a reality show?
No.
The defense claimed that the TV show Cops, known for its portrayal of criminal activities, would serve as his big break. Mike is the real culprit.
Just like everything else in his life, Mr. Dippolito has duped somebody again. He's duped them into representing to you that he is a victim in this case.
The reality of the situation was that Mike found himself on camera during his recovery from liposuction and what he believed to be food poisoning, far from a suitable time for a reality TV debut. The prosecutor dismantled the defense's claim, emphasizing that the evidence overwhelmingly pointed to Dalia's greed-driven plot to eliminate her husband for financial gain.
It was cold, calculated, premeditated. In her evil, warped mind, the only option is to murder him.
The trial unfolded with a stark contrast between the elaborate defense story and the damning reality captured in the recorded conversations. The jury had no problem reaching a verdict. Dalia Dippolito was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years behind bars.
As far as the sentence, I'm 5,000% happy with it. I didn't want any of this. You know, and I feel bad for her.
The story took an unexpected turn when Dalia's new attorneys successfully appealed the initial verdict, leading to a grant for a new trial. The appeal was based on the extensive media coverage and the viral video footage that had circulated before the first trial, raising concerns about the potential bias of the jurors who may have been exposed to this material. The second trial commenced in 2016, presenting a different dynamic. Dalia chose to testify in her own defense, and this time, the defense argued that the police had engaged in entrapment. They contended that while Dalia had spoken to Muhammad about the plan, she had never directly communicated with a real hitman, only an undercover cop. This angle aimed to portray the police as corrupt and present Dalia as a victim of entrapment. The defense's strategy proved more compelling in the second trial, resulting in a hung jury. The jurors found themselves hopelessly deadlocked. 6 jurors were unable to reach a unanimous decision on whether entrapment had occurred. In the subsequent years following the second trial, Dalia remained under house arrest, living a relatively unrestrained life. Despite the mistrial, she had the opportunity to start a new chapter, even getting involved with another man, James, an ex-convict, with whom she eventually had a child. Simultaneously, Muhammad, Dalia's accomplice, found himself in significant trouble just 3 months before the third trial. He was discovered unconscious in a hotel room with a dead woman named Linda, who was a 34-year-old homeless mother. This time, the defense argued that the police had engaged in entrapment, presenting a more compelling case. It felt like she would win the case. But then Dalia was caught on tape again, this time talking to her ex-convict boyfriend James, trying to escape from prison.
I had somebody fly a drone over and drop off wire cutters, and he cut wires and escaped from prison.
Oh, that's awesome. What a genius.
He put a dummy in his bed, and he had an 18-hour head start.
The judge heard enough. Dalia was convicted once again and sentenced to 16 years in prison. She is expected to be released in 2032. Meanwhile, her young son is being raised by her mother and sister. Muhammad, the whistleblower who played a crucial role in exposing Dalia's murder-for-hire plot, met a tragic end. He was discovered dead in his apartment at the age of 40 on October 24, 2021. The circumstances surrounding his death were not fully disclosed, but speculations suggest it might have been drug-related. Despite his messy life, Muhammad had made a pivotal decision to do the right thing in turning Dalia in. On a more positive note, Mike Dippolito managed to piece his life back together after the turmoil. He now runs a successful real estate business and now has a lovely fiancée, Gloria. His journey serves as a testament that sometimes living well is the most gratifying form of revenge. Join us by subscribing to our channel, where we give voice to yesterday's victims, paving the way to shield the victims of tomorrow.